wrestling fans.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
How you doing this evening, gentlemen?
I'm doing fabulous after a awesome trip to Chicago. We're going to talk about that. Saw the Ring of Honor show as well as some awesome AAW shows. So we'll talk about the awesome weekend in Chicago I just had, plus, of course, this week's Ring of Honor television and a little bit of the Young Lions Cup. I'm Tommy Stryker, host of this show, Strong Honor, where we talk about Ring of Honor and New Japan. And joining me, as usual, is Taco.
What up?
And Joe is here as well.
Howdy.
If you're new to the show, we talk New Japan and Ring of Honor. Usually today, I'm going to mix in a little AAW. That's the...
Did you drink any A&W at AAW?
I did not.
Fuck!
I did not. I drank Coors Light in a red cup because it was $3. So,
That's the way to go.
I'm surprised, actually.
so Well, they had some other stuff there too, but we'll get into it. But I want to talk some AAW, a local indie promotion out of Chicago. If you listen to Colt Cabana's podcast, he's always kind of promoting them on there because he works there a lot, obviously being a Chicago guy. But this was just a super indie show this weekend that they had a Friday and Saturday. They had a 2-day tournament, the Jim Lynam Memorial Tournament. I guess Jim Lynam, the previous, I don't know if he was the owner or promoter, but had something to do with the promotion. And so he passed away a couple of years ago, and they started doing this tournament. That's
fucking rad.
The second year of the tournament. And Ring of Honor was in town on Sunday, and they brought in pretty much anybody else that they could. They brought in Zack Sabre Jr., who I got an autograph from over there on the wall.
Nice.
They brought in Michael Elgin was there, Phoenix and Pentagon Dark were there, or Pentagon Jr. or Penta L0M as he's known
which name
in the indie scene now. Who else? AR Fox, Shane Strickland. Both of those guys just had that awesome Killshot versus Dante Fox match on Lucha Underground a couple weeks back. So I didn't get a chance to say anything to AR Fox. He came out to do, to sell T-shirts and autographs on night one, but Night one, I was so shocked because I see these guys on TV and on New Japan World, and all of a sudden I'm at this Eagles club in some random ass neighborhood in Illinois,
right.
And here I am seeing these stars that I've been watching on TV, out of nowhere, and I was just kind of shocked, and I didn't really, night one, I couldn't really go up to anybody. I was just kind of shocked by the entire thing. Night two, I was a little more acclimated and a little more used to it, and I went up to some guys.
I felt with the arena that the Ring of Honor thing was in, because when you first mentioned it, I was like, fuck yeah, Chicago, and then I kind of looked where the arena was and was on the outside of Chicago a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was you didn't really, I don't know, I wasn't there obviously, but was it right there in Chicago, or was it kind of out a little bit?
It was. It was on the kind of the outer suburbs or whatever. But I had my hotel room was right by the O'Hare Airport there.
Yeah,
and it was a 10-minute drive from there, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So, they packed that arena.
That's awesome.
It was a great show. It was great. Definitely more so from a fan standpoint. I saw a little bit of negativity online, and I haven't had a chance to listen to any other podcasts or people talking about this Ring of Honor pay-per-view that happened on Sunday yet. But I did see a little bit of negativity just talking about just because there's a lot of comedy in the show, especially towards some of the main events and stuff, but the crowd in the building really loved the show. It was good stuff. It was good wrestling, despite a lot of silly stuff mixed in. But I think for me, just the entire weekend of it, I'm glad that AAW had those two shows.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it wasn't just me going down for Ring of Honor. Don't get me wrong, the Ring of Honor experience was cool in and of itself, but the AAW and having all those other big stars there too, indie stars, really helped.
Following on Twitter too, it really sounded and seemed like with Pro Wrestling Tees opening up and Ring of Honor and New Japan being there, and then on the other side you had basically the Lucha guys too there, so it just seemed like a big WrestleMania weekend without WWE. It just looked so fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely had that kind of vibe of just, something independent of WWE. And I think that's why maybe some of the criticism for Ring of Honor comes in here too, is you put on this big show. You had your regular pay-per-view was just a couple of weeks back, but it was in Sam's Town out there in Vegas. I can't say anything bad about Sam's Town, but this arena compared to Sam's Town was just way more big-time looking, just in comparison to that. And, of course, they taped TV there, and we've been watching the TV show the last couple of weeks that also emulated from Sam's Town. So, so I think
it wasn't even like a full-on pay-per-view either. Like standard pay-per-views are what, $35. This one was
That's
$20.
Well,
it was more of a, hey, here's your stars. Let's have some fun for a night.
Yeah, put on a good show.
Right. This was supposed to be a house show type of tour, and then they decided because of the popularity of it, because of the buildings selling out, we'll give a deal to our ringside members so they can see the show. We'll put this at a discounted rate on iPay-per-view so that the fans that really want to watch it can watch it, which was nice. But again, I think my point is, Ring of Honor knows they're going to do these shows. I think Ring of Honor they just need to be a little bit smarter and plan a little bit better so that these bigger shows can be the bigger shows in the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just a house show. Nothing significant really happened.
I feel like shit's happening so fast, too, though. Like, it's just look at a year ago compared to right now in the indie scene. It's just everything's just so boom, 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 boom. And
it is really hot. You're right. Again, I hesitate to be too critical because Ring of Honor is in a unique situation with the Sinclair thing and their TV. The TV show, it's so odd because it rarely jives with what's going on with the live stuff.
Especially when someone loses a championship, but they're still walking out with the championship
Right.
It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. Let me go through kind of this Jim Lyman thing. I've Lynam. I don't want to get the name wrong, and a lot of people do. It's Lynam, but
like line them up.
Like line them up. Yeah, sure. I guess I don't need to go through every match that happened, but I'm just kind of looking through the results here to see what jumps out. Obviously, Michael Elgin, and spoiler alert here if you're trying to wait to watch the tournament or whatever, I'm obviously going to get into shit that happened.
Is it going to be on their website or AAW?
Yeah, they are definitely selling videos of it.
So this shit's watchable.
So yeah, you can. I don't know if I haven't looked to see if it's available right now. I know they put out on Twitter like the raw hard cam footage. I think with commentary. But I think they do definitely have two guys running around ringside with cameras as well. So I think it takes some time to edit everything together and put it out as a complete package. And like I said, I haven't looked into how much those are yet or anything like that. I imagine they're pretty affordable. They're probably around $10 or less.
Right.
At least that raw footage cam they put out, I think it was like $6 or $7.
It's not bad.
So yeah, that's not bad. So yeah, you can find these out there. And with as much fun as I had watching this promotion, this might be something that I continue to seek out to watch online because it was a good time, and they had a lot of stars too. But yeah, night one of the tournament was really a lot of fun here. I'll just kind of quickly go through the results here. Michael Elgin defeated Myron Reed. All of Michael Elgin's matches were entertaining, were good, were decent amount of time matches, and really sucked you into the drama of them. Like, there was always a moment in his matches where you think he could possibly lose. Sure. So that was a nice touch in all of his matches. And keep in mind, too, night two, he had 3 matches.
Oh, shit.
So just really worked his ass off, worked really hard.
Is he still with New Japan?
Yep,
Okay,
definitely.
I just haven't heard much about him.
That's the thing is, it was great because I got to go up to him. I bought one of his T-shirts. I said, "Dude, I said you had a really great G1 climax." I didn't say, "Oh man, I wish you would have won more."
Right.
It is what it is. But it does. As far as being a wrestler, he doesn't really care if he wins or loses. It just, did I put on a good show? And so I told him that.
Oh, that's for sure. They need to hear that shit too, because they're grinding. They're grinding for us.
Right. And yeah, in a show like this, at an Eagles club, there were probably somewhere between, I'm bad at estimating crowd numbers, but it was probably somewhere between 200 and 400 people. I don't know.
Yeah, like I saw your photo from your 3 rows behind, whatever. Awesome spot, too, by the way.
Third row seat, but
yeah, it looked like a very intimate crowd. It was awesome.
Right. I paid a little bit extra for the third row. If I'd have just had standing room only, I probably would have had just about the same perspective because it was such an intimate setting, but only about like 5 or 6 rows of chairs on either side of the ring anyway. What was where was I going with that? But yeah, no, just
fuck it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun being there. Zema Ion had a match with ACH. ACH is another guy at this show, at both of these shows. He's stood out to me. Like you guys have heard me maybe criticize him back best of the Super Juniors, being a bit of a goofball or whatever. And there's definitely a little bit of that to his gimmick.
He likes his anime.
And yeah. But seeing him in person, just how fast he is, how athletic he is, and how hard he hits, those are really awesome factors that are part of his game. And I really kind of became a fan of him. On Saturday at the Pro Wrestling Tees store, that was when a lot of these AAW guys, the indie stars, were down there. ACH, Brian Cage, Michael Elgin, Jeff Cobb, they were all at
How giant was Cage?
He's fucking huge, man. He is a machine. He's not tall, but Jesus Christ, the guy's built like a brick shit house. So, it was just insane being next to those guys. Hearing Jeff Cobb attempt to pronounce Los Ingobernables was entertaining. I think I tweeted about that. Got a like from Jeff Cobb.
Was Pentagon a tall guy?
No, Pentagon was not
really.
tall either.
I always picture him like a bigger.
No, he was bigger, but not very tall.
Okay.
Was he just as terrifying as he is on TV?
He was very scary, yes. Like I kind of, he was one of the guys like I was thinking about going up to, but never really did because he always had like a pretty good group of fans around him. It was like, I'll stare from a distance.
Right.
But it was cool being around him. But what was that? ACH on Saturday. I'm standing in line, and because it was raining, they had people waiting in line in the 1 Hour Tees store,
lobby,
which is right next to it. Kind of in the lobby. And so it was in that area where they had like the table set up for autographs and stuff, but all those wrestlers were hanging out inside. Well, ACH comes out of the store. He grabs one of Michael Elgin's 8x10s and starts drawing shit on it. And him and I are just shooting the shit back and forth, just talking.
Awesome.
He's like, "Oh, you're New Japan guy," because I had my New Japan T-shirt on at the time. So yeah, we were shooting the shit, talking some New Japan. And he's like, "You know who else is a star from New Japan?" I'm like, "Who?" "Michael Elgin." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that." So
he's a goofball. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was fun. I'm in a line with like 20 other people, but I'm the only one kind of shooting the shit with ACH.
That's awesome.
Standing 10 feet away or whatever. So
doodling on a picture.
So
that's funny.
it was cool. So I have a newfound appreciation for ACH. So that's really all I want to say about the AAW. The tournament was a lot of fun. They did do like day 2. They did a match between the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon. Those guys are the 2 main champions. Pentagon's the Heritage Champion, and Phoenix is their World Champion. And they took on the Tag Team Champions. Let me see if I can find those guys.
Is it the Bludgeon Brothers?
It is not the Bludgeon Brothers. Let's see. The
Good Brothers? Hype Bros.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong day here. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I wanted to say the guys' names because they were really good. But those two had those guys come out and they're wearing the respective masks of Pentagon and Phoenix, and so everybody is quote confused because they're wearing each other's masks or whatever. So the crowd's playing along and chant, "Who's who?" Who's who, doing that kind of stuff. So fun, great, respectful crowds for the most part throughout the weekend.
For a Chicago crowd, wow.
Right. I mean, there was a couple on the Saturday show for AAW. I was sitting next to a couple of unfortunate folks, and there was a guy behind me who, God bless him, but he would just say the most obvious like negative critic, like, "Oh, the Falcon Arrow, that one's always gonna put a guy away." It was just like, dude, I get it. And sometimes
superplex, you never see that anymore.
it's like, shit like that. And it's a lot of times it's stuff that maybe we're all thinking, but you suspend your disbelief. You're in the moment, and it's just like, dude, you don't have to say it out loud. We get it, and so, but whatever. I don't want to spend too much time focusing on the negative.
Fuck that guy.
Of it, because
fuck that guy.
A lot of fun. But let's get into what happened with ROH and Global Wars here.
Oh God, I don't want go. When you said Global Wars, I was like, why are we talking? Oh, Global Wars. Oof.
But so yeah, like I said, a fun show, but it felt like a separate universe almost from regular Ring of Honor, which could be a problem for Ring of Honor, because I mean, this just felt like a Bullet Club show, really, because it was all about Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Marty Scurll. And,
I saw their big group photo at the end. They did
right. Well, obviously that's kind of some of the bigger news coming out of this was. It was funny because right after the last match, I was like, okay, I know they're going to cut a big long promo here, so I'm going to duck into the bathroom because I really had to go to the bathroom. So I missed the Jimmy Jacobs thing, but obviously I saw about it on social media or whatever. But that was kind of one of the big stories coming out of Global Wars was Jimmy Jacobs taking another selfie with the Bullet Club here in Chicago. Kind of the other big story was the Bully Ray retirement speech here. Now, he'd been kind of doing these retirement speeches, quote unquote, throughout this Global Wars tour, from what I understand. I also did another, if you watched Ring of Honor TV this week, he kind of did the same thing. Of course, with that being taped like right after the pay-per-view, he was kind of selling, the injury with the sunglasses and saying, I can't speak too loud, and he didn't come out to music because he was selling sensitivity.
So did he legit get a head injury or no?
Well, that's the thing is nobody knows.
Okay.
Everybody in the world is kind of expecting the swerve to happen at any minute here. But Ring of Honor, if this is a swerve, they're doing a really good job trying to work us.
I saw that he might have had his retirement speech or whatever at that show, and I was like, oh wow, and I was like, what the fuck? Head injury? Like, I don't remember any reports about a head injury.
Well, the idea is at that pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view, where Jay Briscoe threw the table into Bully Ray's head.
Horribly, I might add.
So, he threw it into his shoulder, quote-unquote, head. But anyway, so they're selling that idea. Bully Ray is old. He hasn't been doing a lot in the ring lately.
See, from reports I was reading, though, they were making it sound like he actually took like a bad bump or a bad hit, not the table spot. So that's why I was like,
thought, too.
It certainly is. Well, I think the head thing, the head trauma angle, was actually a quote angle that they were working.
Okay.
Whereas I think now there's a little bit of a narrative out there that there was another nagging injury. So again, this could all be a work. I don't know, but like I said, Ring of Honor is doing a really good job of working us if it is, because so Bully Ray had the big long speech after he comes out after the Addiction are beating up whoever they beat on the show afterwards, and he ends up putting Frankie Kazarian.
Brothers.
He ends up putting Frankie Kazarian through a table. And it's like, this is the last table I'll ever break. He breaks off a piece of the table, gives it to a kid, all this stuff. And then later in the show, Jay Briscoe comes out, who's, who's been acting a heel lately.
Acting a fool.
He comes out, and the other news from this Global Wars tour is that his brother Mark had suffered a dislocated elbow. Then I haven't seen this officially in news yet, but I swear to God, I saw a picture online on Twitter or something of Mark Briscoe's elbow like broken, like an X-ray. So
I think I did see that too.
I remember seeing that as well.
So yeah, either way, Mark Briscoe's out for a while. So Jay Briscoe comes out not right after the Bully Ray promo. It was a little bit later in the show. He comes out. Oh, it was right after the popcorn match, because he beats the shit out of the two jobbers in the popcorn match. He says, what does he say? He says, wipe your feet when you enter my ring. So he beats the shit out of the jobbers, and then he cuts a promo saying, doesn't mention Bully Ray, just talks about his brother and his dislocated elbow and how he's going to be gone for a while. And you've been focusing on the singles matches and the singles titles, but we got to get back to focusing on on being the best tag team in the world. So with Jay just talking directly about his brother's situation, it feels like they're moving away from the Jay and Bully thing that they had set up at the pay-per-view. So again, could be a work, and they're really going out of their way to make the fans think, okay, they're moving away from the Bully and Jay thing. So, but the whole time I'm watching this Bully Ray speech, the crowd is just enthralled with it. Everybody's into it. And I feel like, am I the only one sitting here thinking Jay Briscoe's going to come out and beat the shit out of him any second? And like, I was waiting for, I kept looking towards the stage. Is he coming? When's he coming? Because tears were flowing in the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd was just like, giving him this time for the speech and really honoring Bully Ray, giving him a hero's send-off, basically.
That'd be so weird if he actually did retire in Ring of Honor, though. If you think about it, like, of his whole careers, and he's been in Ring of Honor, what, 8 months?
Yeah. It would be strange.
It'd be so odd.
So other stuff from the show, opening match, Chucky T and Beretta, the best friends, versus Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser. Oh, just a fun opener. They go all over the place. Fun. Big dives and all, everything that you would expect, basically, from those four in a fun match. I'm trying to see who won. Oh yeah, Silas hit the Misery and got the win for Silas.
Yeah.
Marty Scurll and Hiromu Takahashi, second match on the show.
How fun was this?
A lot of people expected to see this later in the show. They did a lot of comedy stuff in the match. Got Daryl involved, of course.
Yep.
So
the ref selling for trying to call off the hold on Daryl, like he's going, no, you let him go. Just
right, yeah. He Marty Scurll grabs Daryl and threatens to do the finger breaker gimmick on him. And so
break them paws.
A lot of fun. Marty Scurll got the win here, almost a bit surprising for a follower of New Japan like me, but not so much in this setting, in this big Ring of Honor setting. Yeah. I was looking at my Best of the Super Juniors results earlier, and I wanted to see here. Yeah, Scurll lost to Hiromu back in the Best of the Super Juniors. That's of course back when when Hiromu was the champion.
Yep.
So Scurll kind of getting his win back here a little bit. But I think, and I'll get into more of these Best of the Super Juniors results later. But I was kind of. I was tying in the basically Scurll had defeated Ospreay in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament.
That's right.
And so him challenging Ospreay for the junior title at Power Struggle, it makes a little bit of sense because a lot of people were giving the booking for New Japan a little bit of criticism on what has Scurll done to deserve a title shot? All he did was come out and challenge him.
Ospreay for the TV title, though.
That's right, in ROH.
When he just a cup of coffee with it for that day.
That's right, because Ospreay beat Bobby Fish for it, and then Scurll beat him the next day, and he had a nice little run with the TV title. That's a good point, too. But yeah, again, a fun match. The crowd hot for it, but just a second match on the show, so not in a big spot, but certainly those two could perform in a bigger spot if need be. Then The Addiction, Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian versus Kushida and Cheeseburger. This was, again, The Addiction getting the win, and then Bully Ray coming out and doing all that stuff that we already talked about. Then they snuck in what we thought was going to be the big main event, or was listed as a main event, kind of here in the middle of the show. Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham, and Jay White all search and destroy versus the Bullet Club, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, and Cody Rhodes. It was insane. It was everything that you'd think it would be. Big dives, big crazy moves, a lot of silly comedy spots. They do the thing where they're all running around doing spots. They all go for a dive or whatnot.
Women.
Whoops. There were no women in this match.
How are you doing this evening, gentlemen?
But they do the thing where they all miss like an elbow or a splash or whatever in the middle, and then they do like an 8-way drop kick in the match. So a lot of craziness in the match. But the Bullet Club playing definitely the baby faces in the match, which was expected certainly, but a little bit jarring if you follow Ring of Honor TV with how the Motor City Machine Guns are good guys. Jonathan Gresham is good. Jay White is good. They're all awesome guys. But
they're not Bullet Club.
Right, exactly. That's why it felt like more like a Bullet Club show than, a Ring of Honor show. So that match was the last match going into intermission. So they have the 15-minute intermission comeback. The Dogs, Will Ferrara and Rhett Titus, then beat the Jobber guys. And then that was when Mark came out, beat up the Jobber guys, and did his speech talking about
the Brothers of Destruction.
Talking about Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe, the Bludgeon Brothers, not the Bludgeon Brothers. Here was an interesting match. Shane Taylor took the place of Mark Briscoe in the 6-man match. Minoru Suzuki, Lance Archer, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. Teaming up against Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Shane Taylor, of all people.
Nice.
So, I guess they... anyway, this was fun. Everybody was really into Suzuki and Suzuki Gun, which was, again, an interesting dynamic because Suzuki Gun and the heels and their bullshit tactics, that stuff didn't really come into play too much here, but it was just... It ended up boiling down to Suzuki trying to hit the Gotch pile driver on Shane Taylor, and multiple attempts, multiple tries, but yes, he finally hit it and won the fucking match.
He got his hands over there?
Yeah,
Holy
he got him.
Shit.
He got him in it.
I gotta see this.
Got him up and knocked him down. It was a sight to behold. And yeah, the entire crowd chanting, Kaze ni nare when the music hits and all that. That was really cool. So just
fuck yeah,
I couldn't wait. It was so much fun just seeing that entrance live with that music and everything was just so fun. All the the Bullet Club entrances, the Kenny Omega stuff, and in that big time feeling environment. Yeah, it's not a Target Center, it's not a 2-tiered arena, but it was still a big room, a big arena. Bigger than the Hopkins Eisenhower Center, whatever it is that they use here in town. Bigger than the Sam's Town thing that the last pay-per-view was in. It felt bigger than like your Hammerstein ballrooms.
Sure.
So they should really take advantage of this. But again, Kenny Omega being the draw here, and the Bullet Club, the larger Bullet Club. This is how
those big weekends start, though, is, crazy opening events, and then, AAW is running their show, and that's just kind of how, maybe something's going to happen next year, and hopefully something can blossom from this, because that would be super dope.
Did I hear that Kenny Omega forgot to bring his title?
Okay, well, here's the story, and I was, the whole time, he comes out, he doesn't have the belt, like, why doesn't Kenny Omega have the belt? I'm thinking that's really lazy because, if you think about it, how heelish is that? Like, oh, fuck Yoshihashi. Why would I even need to bring the belt? He's not going to win.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Because there was a spot in Japan, I want to say, where the same thing happened, like right after the G1 special, like Kenny Omega didn't have the belt and said the same, like, he's not going to win the belt from me or something like that. So that was kind of my initial thought with it. But what happened was Kenny Omega thought New Japan was going to bring it over with the New Japan guys, and New Japan thought Kenny already had the belt. So that's what happened there. So yeah, Kenny didn't have the belt. We'll get to that match in a minute, but
which is interesting because looking into this, though, I guess even like WWE, they have the show belts and they have the belts you have the show championships and you have the championships you travel with. So, like, I didn't know that before. I thought it was just like the Stanley Cup shit. Like, you get your time with that and shine. Right. And, it definitely makes sense to have, TV appearance championship and then, your money shot championship.
Well, no, New Japan just has the one belt for
I heard that they I was reading that they hand their belts in too, even unless they do sets appearances up or whatever. Sure.
Yeah, no, that makes
so I can understand the confusion, but at the same time, it's all like, who's keeping tracks of the new belt? Like, come on.
Right, that would have been something had it been really lost. Like, we don't have the belt anymore.
Is there not a logbook?
Yeah, you gotta sign it out. Yeah.
Is there a barcode on the back you could zap it out?
That would be smart, wouldn't it? Colt Cabana versus Toru Yano. What a joy! Yes. How much fun was this? Was so fun. It was everything you would expect.
I saw them exchange DVDs at the beginning.
Oh my god, it was fabulous. Yeah, of course. And then of course, Yano throws the exchanged DVD into the crowd, and then Colt Cabana does the same thing, and then they go out of the ring and try to get the other's DVD back from the crowd, but then the crowd demands give it back, so they end up giving the DVD back to the guy in the crowd. So yeah,
that is true.
Awesome, fun back and forth. Colt Cabana got the win in the match. Lots of fun.
Did Toru Yano get a belt or corner buckle off?
He got several of them off, of course. So yeah, lots of fun. And then teasing who hits the turnbuckle in the corner, back and forth. Always a bunch of fun. So it was totally worth it. Will Ospreay versus Flip Gordon. This was probably the best match of the show. Again,
surprise.
How many flips were there?
I didn't count, lost count if I was even trying. But again, even in this match, some early comedy kitty cat stuff from Will Ospreay. My only criticism is that there was too much comedy throughout the show.
The whole show.
There was this match I thought could have been a little more serious, and you could make some arguments for some other ones. But anyway. Doesn't really matter. Ended up being a great match. Was just a showcase for Flip Gordon. My God, the springboarding onto one rope to another rope. Just
did
insane.
Ospreay bring his belt?
Yes, he did. Ospreay did have the junior heavyweight title in the non-title match. But Flip Gordon looked awesome in the match. The crowd was chanting "Fight Forever." Insanity in the match. But really got Flip Gordon over. Will Ospreay, of course, got the win. Amazing stuff. Then the main event: Omega versus Yoshihashi. This was probably. As far as a one-on-one Kenny Omega match, this did not deliver. No. But what happened was they involved as much smoke and mirrors as they possibly could, because I know Kenny Omega and Yoshihashi can have a good one-on-one match. They've had several in the past where obviously Yoshihashi defeated Kenny Omega in last year's G1, so on and so forth. They've had decent, good matches before. They certainly could here, but I think their thoughts were the American crowd, this ROH crowd, at the end of this frenzied night of wrestling with Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks and all this other stuff, they're not going to be into Yoshihashi and Kenny Omega straight up one-on-one. And to be honest, the beginning, 10 minutes of the match where it was just the two of them wasn't that interesting. So when it got interesting was when the ref got bumped. Here come the Bullet Club, and Kenny Omega does the thing. I don't want 2 boots. I don't want 4 boots. I want 10 boots. So they get enough guys. They get 5 guys out there to put 10 boots up in the corner. But then here come Chaos guys along with Flip Gordon and Chucky T to be on the side of Yoshihashi, and they put 10 boots up. So then they tease going back and forth. Who's going to throw who into the 10 boots? And then of course insanity erupts. Everybody's hitting big moves and flip dives, and Hangman Page is doing shooting stars off of the apron, and Matt Jackson is flying off the top rope to the floor doing, backflips and shit. It was insane. It ended up just being a freak show of a match. Of course, Kenny Omega got the win. Oh, Kenny Omega, it's an early one-winged angel, and then Toru Yano pulls the fucking ref out. And so,
of course.
So they got to keep going back and forth some more. Finally, he hits it again and gets the win. And then it was the story after the match with the Bullet Club celebrating, and then we talked about the Jimmy Jacobs thing that happened there as well. But yeah, capped off a really fun weekend. I made 2 trips to the brand new Pro Wrestling Tee store. Spent way too much money on T-shirts. But yeah,
it happens.
Yep.
It really does.
I got T-shirts. I got the New Japan hoodie, which is awesome. My LIJ hat. So a lot of fun. Ring of Honor TV this week, again, feels like a separate world almost from what was the Bullet Club, Ring of Honor Global Wars.
I didn't even get a chance to watch this.
Well, you didn't really.
I did.
You didn't really miss too much. The main event was The Kingdom versus Search and Destroy, a 6-man main event. Search and Destroy was Jonathan Gresham, and the Motor City Machine Guns. A good action late in the match, but TK Orion distracts the referee with a bat, so Taven can hit Sabin. I believe it was a low blow, wasn't it?
Didn't he hit him with his club?
Oh, that's right. His big club hits Saban with the big club.
Personal.
And then he gets a schoolboy with the tights and gets the win there. So the Kingdom getting a cheap TV win. We had Cody in a suit versus Cheeseburger for the Ring of Honor title.
Yes.
But he does get the win with the American Deathlock. So I like
new finisher.
Like Cody mixing in a new finisher. It
actually looks
there.
pretty cool too. I like it.
Yeah, it's just it's your Indian Deathlock, but his new American Nightmare gimmick. Again, we had Bully Ray doing the selling the quote unquote injury from the pay-per-view, kind of working the concussion angle here. We talked about that.
And this is where I kind of just felt like I made the turn of, they could be just fucking with us, because I'd only seen reports and tweets about the Bully Ray thing all fucking weekend. I'm just like, fuck, this is depressing. And then I saw this on TV, and I'm just like, "Fuck, they're working me. They are fucking working me."
They're really driving that retirement point home. So
I thought it was legit. Like I didn't know it was they're milking off the injury from the table spot. I thought it was just a flat out like bad spot or whatever that he just kind of been working through.
When it comes to something like this, my first immediate reaction is, well, I got to go watch something. I got to go find something. And like, I went through some of his old table stuff, even watching him put Mae Young through a table. And then actually, one of my favorite things was just him showing up at the Royal Rumble in I think 2015 in Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
It was electric. It was perfect for the moment it was. He wasn't gonna win, I realized, fuck, Bubba/Bully's been around a long time.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, so him retiring is not out of the question at all. He's
especially with the bumps he's taken in early ECW days.
Well, I was talking about it earlier on the show. Just his run this year with the Briscoes in that kind of the 6-man role or whatever. Bully Ray hasn't been doing much in the ring wise. He's kind of stands there, wait to do his hot tag, comes in, hits everybody with elbows, do the what's up spot, and then we go home. So, Bully Ray hasn't really been doing much.
Devon's backstage guy now. Bubba's wife, she's not even wrestling anymore. She's schooling, getting education. So
sure.
He has him and Devon have that school. So. Man, just chill a little bit. He's been going hard.
I forgot to mention before the Cody in a suit match versus Cheeseburger, we had the Cody contract celebration that was featured on Being the Elite about 4 weeks ago. When it actually right after it happened, it's sad when Being the Elite is more topical than the TV show.
Is he actually signed then? To any kind of multi-year?
I don't know about multi-year, but he's definitely signed a Ring of Honor contract. Whether or not it's the, quote, most lucrative contract in Ring of Honor history, who knows? That's probably part of the work. But who knows? There could be something to it. So let's see here. Next week, we're going to get Mark Briscoe, Punishment Martinez, Shane Taylor, and Chucky T in a 4-corner survival match. I think that is for, a TV title #1 contendership versus Kenny King.
Let's go, Chucky T!
They had that deal a couple of weeks ago where Kenny King won his match and everybody came out to challenge him. So this will be the #1 contendership for that. Kushida took on Scorpio Sky. The Addiction attack when it looks like Kushida's about to get the win. The Addiction were supposed to be banned from the building. Security tried to stop them from entering the building at the beginning of the show, but
finding good help.
They must have found a way in through a different door that was not as secured by the security people. Jay Lethal chases the Addiction away and challenges them to a tag match next week. I don't remember him naming a tag partner, but
it was Kushida.
That's right. Yes, Kushida, of course. So Addiction versus Kushida probably next week.
Listen up, Time Splitter.
Or the week after. So let's see. That's pretty much it. We had the Coleman's Pulpit segment.
Yeah, we can move on.
The big dogs, Rhett Titus and Will Ferrara. They're going to take on the Tempura Boys next week. This Coleman's Pulpit
it needs to stop.
Is that's we need to move on to something.
Change the background and his stupid music as many times as you want. This guy it's not working for him.
The Coleman guy himself, he's interesting. He can talk when it's a certain interesting things. When there's something of substance there. I've seen him be good, but this Coleman's pulpit thing has never been good, and I don't know what it is. It just, they need to do something else with him. He can be good, but he hasn't been in this situation. And Ferrara just came off as a goofball in the thing.
It was pretty bad.
Rhett Titus was Rhett Titus, who's he's only ever impressed me when he was the romantic touch. So there's that. I mean, he's fine in the ring. Ferrara is great in the ring. I like Ferrara in the ring, and I like that they're trying to introduce different aspects of the personalities here. And yes, they're heels. We're not supposed to like them anyway, but this was just, it felt like it was fast forwardable stuff. So, exactly. Let's talk a little bit of New Japan right now and talk about, and there's not a ton to talk about that has happened in the last week, except for the Young Lions Cup has started. Now, I did fill out a bracket of sorts with my prediction for the Young Lions Cup. Now, here's some of my predictions. I got Kitamura going the whole way because he's not the most experienced young lion,
a monster,
but
though.
He's that big jacked up young lion, and he's a little bit older. So if New Japan's going to do something with him, why not heat him up, have him win this tournament, and just give him.
He looks like he's ready to fucking tear someone up.
Right. And he still looks green in the ring, but he has that look. Like you said, he's
the only one with like a different mouthpiece, and just he has that, like you said, that look.
Right. He's got the look. He's got a little bit of charisma. It looks like he's going to beat the shit out of somebody. So I got him winning, but I did book in my predictions a couple of interesting things here because so if you win a match, that's 3 points. That's a big difference here. And if you go to a draw, all these matches are 15-minute time limits. In a draw, each wrestler gets 1 point. So I got Kitamura and Oka going to a 15-minute draw. And I also have Kawato and Oka going to a 15-minute draw. Kawato is probably my favorite young lion at this point. He's very fiery, has some great high spots, has really looked awesome in the tag matches, and just has a good connection with the crowd. So he's my favorite right now. But, Oka's right up there. He's good, too. I thought Shota Umino, son of Red Shoes Uno, he had a match with Oka, and of course he lost the match. But I thought Umino looked size-wise like he hung in there with Oka. So he's packing on some beef a little bit, this Umino guy. Yagi and Narita looked decent, but they both lost. Kawato beat Narita, and Ren Narita is his name, and then Kitamura beat Tetsuhiro Yagi. So not much to talk about in those matches, but again, the Young Lions are fun to watch. They're quick, easy matches to digest.
Right.
And so, it'll be a fun...
a couple-day tournament?
They just had this one last week. I don't have up on our board when the next one is. I believe it's sometime in November, I believe, sometime between the last road, sometime between Power Struggle and World Tag League is the next one, I believe. So sometime in kind of mid-November-ish will be the next Lionsgate project.
Hey.
We will look forward to that. There's also, I should mention, we got the Road to Power Struggle shows coming up starting this week on the 21st on Saturday on this weekend. And what's going to be happening on these Road to shows, which is usually the Road to shows, not a lot important, a bunch of multi-man tags building up to what's going to happen at Power Struggle. Of course, Power Struggle, the big main event, Kota Ibushi versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the Intercontinental title. It'll be Will Ospreay defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title versus Marty Scurll on Power Struggle as well. But these Road to shows, we are getting the Super Junior Tag Tournament. Now, I haven't filled out a complete bracket for this yet, but looking to do
When's
that
start?
here. That starts this weekend on the 21st.
Oh, fuck.
So
I'll make a bracket.
Yep.
We got in the opening
Beer
round.
on the line.
What's that?
Beer on the line?
Sure, why
Of course, beer on the line. I'm going in blind.
You might as well just buy it tomorrow, Joe. Shit.
not? So opening round, we got. Well, it's a it's a pretty simple, small tournament.
This is a real competition. Beer is on the line.
Yeah, dude. When
True
beer's
story.
on the line, this is all serious.
So opening round, we got Hirai Kawato, my favorite, Young Lion, teaming up with Kushida. That should be fun. They're taking on the new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, Roppongi 3K. So Roppongi 3K probably moving on. I'm predicting Roppongi 3K is probably going to go far in this thing, being that they're the brand new tag team champions. They're going to take on the winners of Dragon Lee and Teton versus Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. So it's probably going to be Bushi and Hiromu moving on there. So Bushi and Hiromu probably facing Roppongi 3K. So it's just a matter of do they really push Roppongi 3K, giving them the win?
Yes,
over
go further in your strategy.
I might stop short, but here's the thing: do they give Roppongi 3K the big push and have them get the big win over like a team like Bushi and Takahashi? So that'd be. I mean, you certainly could have Dragon Lee and Teton win as well, only to have them lose in the second round to the Tempura Boys as well. So there's that. Other side of the bracket, Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up with Tiger Mask. Feel like it's been a while since we've seen those guys. They're taking on the team of El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, so probably a Suzuki Gun win there.
Yeah.
And then they'll have to face the winner of Taguchi teaming up with his new partner, ACH. Super ACH. I'm the new super fan of ACH after talking with him at Pro Wrestling Tees.
Replacing Ricochet.
The real question is what happened to the little picture that he was drawing on?
I don't know. I don't know if he put it on social media or just ended up sticking it back into Michael Elgin's pile of 8x10s.
Oh, that'd be so great.
I'm not sure. I wish I would have grabbed it or something. That would have been even better, or at least taken a picture of it. So yeah, ACH and Taguchi taking on Taichi and Taka Michinoku. A couple more Suzuki Gun guys. Probably ACH and Taguchi winning here, but you never know. Could be Suzuki Gun moving on. They're not going to do Suzuki Gun versus Suzuki Gun in the second round, so probably Taguchi and ACH moving on, being that Taguchi just lost the junior.
That'd just be one big Suzuki Gun beating the shit out of each other in the crowd. I hope they do that now.
It would be more fun like that, kind of like what we got in the Super Junior tournament and certainly at the G1 Climax
because they're ready to brawl when they need to.
Well, except for that one that, remember back in the Super Juniors, I think it was Taichi versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru, where they did a 10-minute match where they didn't touch.
No.
So they could always go that route. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be Kanemaru and Desperado taking on ACH and Taguchi in the second round there. So we will see. I'd like to think that it's probably going to end up being a Suzuki Gun team probably winning the whole thing to challenge Roppongi 3K for the titles at Power Struggle or something like that. But we'll see how it goes.
Two Suzuki teams together like that.
Right, and then you get the Suzuki Gun influence with the bullshit and the interference and the skullduggery, and so that'll probably happen there. So, but you can look forward to watching this tournament play out over the next few Road to Power Struggle shows. First one's on the 21st of this month. We got another one on the 23rd, then another one on the 29th and the 30th. Of course, Power Struggle happening on November 5th. So a lot of stuff happening over the next few weeks going into the month of November. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to digest there. We'll get into more Power Struggle as we get closer, and yeah, well,
yes, sir.
Certainly it'll probably be a shorter couple of strong honors over the next couple of weeks. So let's wrap things up with the Kojima tweet.
Now it's time for the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
So he sent out a tweet in Spanish today, but I decided not to try to pronounce things in Spanish, and we're going to go with the English
the Briscoe
tweet.
brothers could.
You could follow Kojima at cozy_lariat on Twitter. Good morning. Tokyo is raining. I am not good at rain, but I love bread. So that's going to do it for the show this week. Check out our other podcast, The Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about not New Japan, we talk about WWE, Raw, SmackDown, TLC predictions for this weekend. NXT, Lucha Underground, and more over there at bestprowrestlingpodcast.com or stronghonor.com. Both of those addresses will get you to the same website. Follow this show at Strong Honor on Twitter. Follow me at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Taco, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Snapchat, Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
That's going to do it for Strong Honor. Thanks and bye.
Women? You ungrateful garbage! Bad luck fail. My botch. Alright, let's focus on business.